I'm Brianna from BL Budgeting. If you're new here, welcome. I love to talk all about debt goals, savings goals, making budgets, but mostly the learning part of budgeting. I like to try to teach things that helped me pay off a whole lot of debt over the past 5 years. Specifically in this video, I'm going to talk about my April budget. So this month, I am super excited to share that I am paying off my last credit card that is from all of my dumb stuff. My pointless, I need all of these clothes and shoes and hair and all of those things that I thought were going to make me happy ultimately. I'm paying that card off this month and it started at $22,000. I have $800 left on it. So I'm paying that off in 5 days. And then the only debt I have left is student loans and a credit card that had foot surgery on it. So that's not a big deal that I really had to do that. But I hope that you'll come along and maybe you will learn something or you could teach me something. I would love to hear all about what your goals are and what you guys need help with. I would love to share, absolutely love to share. I've learned so much, mostly from the budget mom. She was my favorite, and she is the person who got me into all of this 5 years ago. All right, so let's get into it. New month, new goals. Super exciting. So I didn't fill this out yet, but it's very simple. When I was doing my budget closeout for March, I couldn't remember where I put money, cash. It was just cash. It wasn't from my checking account. I couldn't remember where I put that money that I had left over. And I didn't have like super accurate savings, written savings totals. I just had envelopes that had savings in them. So I wasn't completely tracking it very well. So I'm going to start doing this so that way I know at the beginning of the month what my checking accounts are, what my cash envelopes are, what my savings is, things like that, just to help me track where everything is. Just it'll help me with the budget closeout. So this is my bill tracker. I have all of my regular bills that happen every single month. The ones that I didn't fill out are debt, and that's because I typically pay over the minimum. But right now, like my student loans are not due right now, so I'm not paying them. I'm honestly focusing on these two balance transfers. They're both due next month in May. And like I said in my intro, I will be paying off this Discover credit card this month. And then Care Credit is the foot surgery credit card, and I'll be paying that off next month before the balance transfer is over. American Express is just, I don't typically carry a balance on that. That's just like in a pinch, I don't have cash on me, things like that. And then I get points. So I actually do have my subscriptions on my American Express. And this month, that's really going to help me out. Then I have just some regular other things. Home Depot, that's my husband's credit card. It's in my name, but he bought a lawnmower, so he gives me cash, and then I just pay it. And then here I have payments that are like semi-annual and annual. My car insurance, my phone plan, I buy 6 months at a time. Microsoft, I pay for it once a year. I was doing Excel budgets for a very long time, but then recently I started doing paper planner budgets, and I would really like to get into Notion. I'm trying to get comfortable with it because if you are coming from Excel and you know it really well and you understand it and you can do your own formulas and functions, and then you move to Notion, it is like moving from an iPhone to a Galaxy. I think they're both great, but I'm struggling. So I'm going to get comfortable with it, and then I'm going to make a video going over like the basics of this one that I have. And I purchased it off of Etsy. It was pretty cheap, but I think I purchased a few Notion budget planners off of Etsy, but I think that this one it has exactly what I need. There's account transfers, and it's not super difficult. It's a little difficult, but the other ones were way too advanced for me. So I'll show you guys that in another video. So I have car insurance, I have my 6-month phone plan, I have Microsoft, I have Canva, and then Creative Fabrica, which is, I have an Etsy shop and I use that to get designs. I accidentally hit the header and bought another year, so I'm good on that. I wanted to fill this out on camera just because I'm super excited about it. I guess I'll do that now. So in 2020, when I stopped buying all of the dumb stuff And I realized like, hey, one day I'm going to have to pay this back. My highest debt was $77,000 and I have 200 icons. So I'm gonna do 77,000 divided by 200. Oh my God, each icon is $385. So let me see what my total debts are right now. All right, so I wasn't sure about my student loans, but I did get some pretty close to accurate numbers. So we've got 800 on the card that I'm paying off this month, 991 on my foot surgery card, 5859 is one of my student loans, 2512, another one, and then 5371. So we are at 15,533 total debt. What sheet is this? All right, I'm just going to write that here. So today is April 5th. My debt is 15,533. Now, if each of these, what were they? 385. So we've got 77,000 divided by 200 icons. They are each 385. 15 is what I have left. So we've got 77,000 minus 15,533. Wow, guys, that's amazing. I've paid off $61,000 of debt. Oh my goodness. That's so crazy. All right, so how many dots is that? 61,467 divided by 385. 160 dots. That's awesome. I'm obviously going to speed through this, but that makes me so happy. So freaking happy. What color do I want? Let's do a pink. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. That is my progress in 5 years. That is seriously motivating. I hope it's motivating to you too, because this journey is long and it can be really difficult. It can be really lonely, honestly. All right, so let's move on. So this is my April spread. I'm kind of new to using stickers. I bought these a while ago. They were from Casey Lee on Etsy. I don't know if you can see that well. Casey Lee. And I actually wanted to offer, if anybody wants these for free, I will ship them to you in the US because I paid off my car. I forgot that I bought all of these stickers literally last summer. And I just recently started getting into planning on paper. So I bought the stickers, didn't use them. I had plans of using them, I didn't. And then when I actually got into this, forgot I had them. So my car is paid off. If anybody wants these, you can have them for free. Just message me. Either leave me a comment or you can go to my Instagram and message me. US only, but I would love to give them to somebody who can actually use them. So I put all of these on. Let me show you who these are from. I got a lot of other stickers from her, but this is Plan to Plan Sticker Co. And you can, these are obviously personalized. I don't remember if I personalized any of these, but I did get a bunch of like random ones that are not totally budget related, like little crock pots. I like to meal plan because that, like meal prepping and meal planning, that is one way that I could stay on track with eating how I want to eat. I got stickers to water my plants. I got ones to take a walk, go outside, things like that. So, and that's from Plan to Plan Sticker Co. These are both on Etsy. Casey Lee Design and Plan to Plan. So the ones that I didn't have a specific sticker for that was labeled, I did just write down my newer bills because I didn't have these bills last summer when I bought these stickers. I don't cash stuff every single week. Right now, it's just not really feasible for me. So I do like to cash stuff in the beginning of the month. And then the only thing that I will cash stuff every week is groceries. Gas, I like to use my credit card and then I just pay it back. The other cash envelopes are like household, toiletries, pet food, miscellaneous, takeout, pretty general things like that. And then budgeting supplies. I like to limit what I'm spending on things like this. I got this. I will link her in the description. I actually have three covers from her. They are just Oh wait, I have 2 covers from her. No, all 3 of them are from her. But they are just very sturdy. They have little pockets, a little pen holder. I love them. Love them so much. And then these rings I just got off of Amazon. And then this filler paper I also got on Amazon. But I will link her in the description for these, and they were very affordable. So I have all of my bills written here. I have my paydays. I have little reminders like I have to apply the flea and tick on my dog. I have a baby shower to go to, so I am off work. This is when my Discover card is due, but I am paying it off as soon as possible, so I'm paying it off in 5 days. And I might go to the winery on the 13th. And then I just have little reminders right here. And I will link this calendar in the description of the video. It's very, very simple. I really, really like it. Her name is at the bottom. I think it's called My Life Plans, but I unfortunately covered it with a sticker. The rest of this planner I'll have available in my Etsy shop this week. I put my shop on vacation because I had a lot to do, and all of the orders, they were building up, so I had a lot to catch up on. So I just took like a week off. So this is my monthly budget spread. And when I make mistakes when I'm creating things and I make mistakes, I just keep them and use them. So you'll see like I have a date column in my savings. I don't need that. So the one that I sell in my shop, it will not have date under sinking funds and savings. I think I'll keep it under debt. That makes sense. So let's go into here. I will zoom in. All right, so starting out with my income, I always will count a rollover from, I have 2 checking accounts. I will count 4 paychecks. I get paid weekly. And then I typically should have at least $100 over what I'm planning my lowest paycheck to be. So my lowest paycheck is actually less, I'm sorry, my lowest paycheck that I typically receive, I go under that just to be completely safe. I will always have enough money if I do that. And then I just added a teeny tiny bit extra. So I typically expect like $10.30 per week, but I just lowball it and I say $1,000 a week is my minimum paycheck. And then over the month, I should gather like $100 extra on top of that. That's how I've been doing it, and it's been working out really, really well. I have rent. This is my husband's. This had white out, so it's kind of like a mess. This is my husband's, how much he'll give me for rent. Sorry. This is how much my husband will give me for rent. This will be his share of our electric bill. This is the Home Depot card that he has his lawnmower on. He just gives me money and then I pay it. And then I actually have to use my buffer this month. It's a little tight with everything going on. So that is how that's going to be. I have all of my regular bills and how much I expect to spend on them. I have my cash envelopes and then just like regular variable spending that I'll expect to have. And my sinking funds. I did start getting my hair done like every 2 or 3 months just because I have grays and they're really, really pissing me off. So I did have dark hair for a while, but it was just really aggravating me that I had grays. So I'm starting to put a little bit of blonde in it, not too crazy, but I do want to try to cover them a little bit because I'm not going to get my roots done, my dark roots every, 6 or 8 weeks. I'm not doing that. My car is paid off, like I said. However, it is 13 years old. So I've done a lot of preventative maintenance on it recently to try and just take care of it really, really well. But this 100 that I'm putting away is for what I know will probably come up maybe within the next 6 months. Tires and my brakes, maybe. Not too sure about that. So I'm starting to do that because honestly, a lot of the debt that I had, well, as I was paying off debt, I would be doing really, really well, and my budget is just super tight. And that's how I was able to pay off a lot of debt. However, I was not allowing for a lot of savings at all. So my car would break down. And guess what? I had to charge it. That happened multiple times. My dog, when she was a puppy, she grabbed a fishing hook, went right through her cheek. It, of course, was a treble hook. It had multiple hooks on it, and we could not get it off. We couldn't break it with pliers, couldn't do any of that. So had to take her to the emergency vet. That was not fun. It wasn't as expensive as I thought it would be, but this was all a learning experience for me that I need to be better at savings. even though I'm going crazy with how close I am with paying off my debt, that I just want to go and keep paying it off, but I need to be realistic. So starting this year, I really did decide that I'm going to be on a savings journey. Although I'm paying off debt, I am focusing on really growing my savings. So I did just like, so I love buying savings trackers on Etsy. I have a shop and I sell a lot of those things as well, mostly envelopes, but I've bought a bunch of savings trackers. So you'll see me go through a lot of them. Let me show you, I have a whole stack. This is my stash. So I actually just got this maybe like 3 or 4 days ago. It came in the mail. This is from Bee on a Budget, BEA. There you go, Bee on a Budget. She's very, very sweet. But yeah, so I'm going to go through all of this. And where are my Gossip Girl lovers? I know you're out there. Where is my Dorota? Yes. This is from Beezy's Things. It says, Miss Blair, I unfriend Mr. Chuck on Facebook and in real life. Yes. But there's a lot of great gems in here. Oh, this was not even from the United States, but I had to have it. My dog is my best friend, and I got this whole bundle. I have so much stuff in here. Anyways, I'm going to go through all that in another video. I'm going to start using them up to help, put into these savings. So my current savings, so I went over my debt. I just have a few debts left and then I'll be debt free, should be by December. My current savings that I'm working on, I have emergency. That was, let me show you. All right, so this is what I'm using for my emergency. This is going to add up to 1,000. And this is from the Blushing Hippo. There were 6 levels and I have completed level 1 and 2. So I'm working on level 3. And I did ask her to make me these envelopes just to kind of, I wanted something like matching. And then here, this is where I've been putting the money. And then what I don't have in this envelope is in my bank account. So these are from Simply Budgeted. They are so beautiful. This is what I have in my bank account for my emergency money. And then also, I bought another $1,000 savings bundle. This was a custom order for Beezy's Things. And I was thinking, I have 2 $1,000 tracker sets. What am I going to, I want to use both of them, but I'm not going to, this is specific towards the month. So I didn't want to have my emergency fund be put off, that I won't complete it until the end of the year. So what I'm actually doing is, because none of my debts right now have interest, that is super important. This $1,000 that I will have by the end of the year is going to be my, like one of my last big payments on my debt. I love to make a lump sum payment, especially if there's no interest. This is going to feel really, really good. So, and what I do is I put this in my budget. So this is already in my budget. So that way I will save for it. I will use this. This is in there. Okay. Because savings, I have learned, is it just doesn't seem as fun as paying off debt. Like you don't seem so accomplished, in my eyes at least. If you feel accomplished, please keep saving, keep going. That's awesome. But watching my debt dwindle down was more exciting than savings. So I call that my 1K annual. So that is the 130 that you just saw. Emergency, this is the whole section 3. So if I can't afford to do something here, what I would try to do, because my budget's really tight this month, what I would try to do is cut back in grocery, cut back in toiletries. I don't really need anything like shampoo, conditioner, face wash. So that's $30. Household, I put away $50 per month for household, and I already bought $20 worth of like trash bags and things, but I don't think I need anything else. So if I could keep that 30 from household and then the 30 from toiletries, that's an extra $60. And then groceries, I could get by with very simple, like I could eat like a college student, to be honest. I hate cooking. And I'm very simple, very easy to please with food. So I could make it work if I need to cut my grocery budget just for 1 month. So I have all those. I'm putting a little bit into my buffer, but I'm also, as you saw here, using a little bit of my buffer this month. Just because things were tight, I had to do that. I was actually going to be short on pet sitting if I didn't add this to my buffer. So it's been a pretty busy March. Was a lot. My husband had a work accident and it was pretty scary. It could have been very, very serious. It was serious, but he recovered miraculously, thank God. And it could have been so much worse. I'm so thankful. He could be blind right now. And yes, so that was very, very hard. But I needed the pet sitter more than I thought I would. So that was extra money. And then he was home for 2 weeks. So actually, I didn't need to pay extra money, but I already paid her. I already gave her that money. So I got to apply some of that to this month, which is great. But whew, just to tell you, things could happen and change. I'm going to zoom out. Things can change in the blink of an eye. So it's just scary. All right. Anyway, sorry about that. All right. So debt, I told you that I just have my credit card that I'm paying off in 5 days. I have my care credit, which is my foot surgery. And then I also have a personal loan, but that's honestly from a family member. So I'm not in a rush to pay more than the minimum right now. And there's no interest on it. So I'm literally just doing a flat fee of $250 a month. That is totally doable. And that will also be paid off by the end of the year. And then here I have Home Depot, which is my husband's lawnmower. So this is the breakdown of everything. I have my total income for the month. And then I have added up every single section on here. Transfer that over here. And then my total outgoing. This will be different on the sheets that I sell. It's just, there's a lot of things. That's why I'm redoing my shop. I was selling a lot of envelopes, but I was not happy with the other items in my shop. So I'm working on it right now. Outgoing total was $51.30. My total income was $51.31. So I don't recommend this. I'm probably going to move my buffer. I have a few checking accounts, and I'm probably going to transfer the buffer to my regular account just to be safe, just in case I double pay something on accident. Anything like that can happen. All right. Then, because I wasn't paying attention, this is my 4th paycheck. I didn't realize that I had printed this here. I started over here. So let me do this. Pay 1, pay 3, 2, 4. All right. So every single month, what I like to do, and if you are looking for aesthetic coloring on trackers, like my debt tracker, you're not going to find that here. It's really pretty to watch. I honestly like watching it. It's very nice. But I just feel like I need to do things faster. I don't know. I'm very impatient and feel like I just want to move along and get to the nitty gritty. So every single month, I will write down my monthly budget, and then I will break it down every week into what bills I'm paying with my income, what bills are due, what bills I'm paying, what cash envelopes I'm taking out, things like that. It helps me so much because with my calendar, I can clearly see what's going on. And like I said before, I have my subscriptions on a credit card, and that is really helping me out this month because my money was very tight, which means I'm going to pay the gym, Netflix, Apple, pet insurance, Google, Apple again, my fitness app. I'm paying all of these subscriptions that are all over the month. I'm just paying them on my last paycheck because I need my money for other important things up front. I have, first off, I'm paying off that credit card. These subscriptions can wait. They're paid, technically. I'm paying off my Discover card at the expense of not paying these little guys. Whatever, don't care. What else? I needed pet sitting money. I had to give her cash for that. So that's going to be in the third week. I needed grocery money, just just a bunch of things. But it's been a savior for me, honestly, because I don't like having too many auto deposits from my checking account. I don't really trust myself. My buffer's not that big yet. So that's the problem. If my buffer was bigger, I would feel more comfortable with having auto deposits of bills removed from my account. It's up to you if you want to do that, if you're comfortable, or if you think that you might forget to pay them, build up your buffer, get that moving. I do want to get there eventually because looking at all of my little bills, it gets very annoying. I would like to just know that it's taken care of. All right, so my first paycheck, I did not have any bills due. I was putting that $10 into my buffer. And then I had a whole bunch of things here. I'm taking out my cash envelopes for gas, groceries, toiletries, household, takeout, pets, miscellaneous, and budgeting items, like that little flowery booklet. I'm going to pay that off. I bought that like at the end of March. And then baby shower, I already bought the gifts on Amazon. So there's that. And then debt, since this is a family member, I will always pay this the first week of the month or my first paycheck of the month. I'm not going to make them wait. Care credit was due in a few days, but I like to always try to pay bills that are not automatically on my credit card. I like to pay them a little bit early just to make sure that everything is clear and good and all that. So I pay the minimum on care credit. And then you'll see on paycheck 4, I'm paying the rest because I did want to pay $250 total this month on my care credit. That's the minimum that I'm paying on that I have been for months, not the minimum that's actually due, because I have an Excel spreadsheet for my debt. And in order to have certain things paid off by certain times, this is what worked for me. And actually, it's a balance transfer. So if you know what a balance transfer is, I needed to get that paid off by May because I didn't want the interest to build up. There's no interest on it now, but the interest will come and get me in May. So that is paycheck 1. Paycheck 2, again, no bills. I don't have any savings that I'm doing. I am paying off that Discover. I'm so excited, you guys. Seriously. If you're on a debt journey, let me know. It can be really, really hard. It can be depressing. It can be lonely. It can just feel like it's going nowhere. But I promise you, if you are moving forward a little bit with your debt, that's progress. That is progress. Just don't fall back. Don't spiral back into the old ways. Find out why you're going into debt. I was going into debt because I wasn't happy with myself. So I bought the cute clothes. I had multiple personal trainers and I gained all the weight back plus some. So I'm actually on like a weight loss journey right now. I would like to lose like 30 pounds, honestly, but that's going to be a lot. I have a vacation in September. So I would like to look a little bit better for that. But yeah, if you are in debt, find out why you're in debt and just try to nip that in the butt because you do have to pay it back eventually. You really do. I have my regular groceries and gas, which I literally have coming out every paycheck. So that's easy. I have an allergy appointment for my dog. I'm getting her some shots. And then I might be going to the winery. If I don't go, I can definitely put that $40 somewhere. Actually, I would probably just refill my buffer because I took $50 from my buffer to kind of cover some things this month. My third paycheck, I have my electric is due, my rent is due, my groceries and gas again, and then here we have pet sitting. And then my fourth paycheck, I am doing all that savings. I just couldn't afford to do it earlier in the month, which is unfortunate. Honestly, this was a big thing in my budget. If I didn't have to pay that $150, I could have started at one of these, but I don't need these right now, so that is good. I bought this at the end of March, so I'm trying to pay that off right away. HP, that is Healthy Paws. That's my pet insurance. Now that my dog is almost 5 years old, and now that she has pet insurance, she literally doesn't do anything bad. I'm grateful that she hasn't hurt herself, but all of her injuries were before we had pet insurance. So get that when your dog's puppy. Definitely do that. Google, I think that's for extra storage on my phone. Gym membership, and then all of those subscriptions that were in my calendar, the beginning of the month, the middle of the month, I just have it listed as subscriptions and $75. And then groceries and gas, just like every other paycheck. And then here's the remainder of the care credit to make it a $250 payment. And then my husband will give me $40 so I can pay $40 on his card. Does not have to be difficult. It can be really confusing. I honestly, that's why I start in Excel, and I'm going to do a video about it where you can do it for free. You can use your own spreadsheet. You can probably use Open Office as well if you don't have an Excel membership. But I'll show you how to break down your monthly paycheck into however often you get paid or however often you want to do a check-in. You can even if you get paid bi-weekly, you can make a weekly paycheck just to keep up on your bills and hone in on your spending and see how much you have left for the following week before you get paid again. It can be very, very helpful. I have my regular account spending trackers. This will be for my 2 checking accounts. I have cash purchase tracker. This is new to me. I was using a different style, but I really just didn't like it. It had little boxes for each category. I don't know why, but I just don't like the little trackers in my envelopes. I want to have it in my planner. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what works for me. And then credit card purchase tracker. This is just to make sure that I pay things off because sometimes life gets away from me and I've been really busy and I wasn't tracking. And then I realized I look at my credit card and it's like $250, which in the like scheme of things is not huge, but I'm like, what did I buy? In my head, I know that I have this much for groceries. Sure, swipe my card, I don't have cash. I buy the gas because I do that cashless. I buy toiletries. Like when I don't have my cash envelopes, I spend on my card and I don't always watch it as close as I should. So you heard it from me. That is something I need to work on. I do not like that. I do not like going backwards and looking at my credit card and trying to break down all of the expenses and put them in the categories and then I'm over. I don't like any of that. So monthly budget closeout. This is, I was going to do a video on it for March, but honestly, it was a mess because I didn't know where I put my cash into from going from February to March. So I'm going to work on this for you guys and I'm going to make a simple budget closeout because if you don't know what you're adding and subtracting and what your goal is on this sheet, it can just be like another language. It can just be really, really difficult for you. All right, so that is my whole April planner. And my goal, my number one goal is to, and I've said this before, and it's just so hard for me, but I want to stop spending on my credit card and saying, I'll pay it back. I have the grocery money. I'll pay the cash back from my cash envelope. I don't do that very quickly. And then days go by and I forgot that I was already close to my max and then I'm over. So that's my goal. That is my April budget. I think that's all I'm going to show you guys for today. It's actually pretty late here. And I'm going to make another video for you soon. Once I get my cash envelopes made, I'm going to do my first stuffing of April. And then the rest of April, I'll just be stuffing groceries. So I probably won't do another video for that. But I hope you enjoyed this. I really hope that you learned something or found this a little inspirational for you to just track your budget, make a budget, make some goals for the month. What are you trying to work on? So break that down. And if you need help, just let me know. I would love to help you figure out what you're trying to do and how to do it and things like that. But until next time, see you guys later. Bye. Hello.